All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we have ourselves one of the most hypocritical articles that we have ever covered in our lifetime as a YouTube channel. And that's saying a lot, considering that gaming journalists like to be hypocritical every single day of their lives. If you guys remember, I covered a story about Stellar Blade being given a 68 score by PC Gamer. And one of the issues that PC Gamer has, aside from the fact that Asian buyers are buying Asian games, because apparently Asian gamers don't count as sales, but that's a whole nother story that these journalists will try to tell you. One of the biggest issues that they have with Stellar Blade is the fact of how hot Eve is, right? Everybody has a problem with how hot Eve is. They like to say that Eve and Stellar Blade is a Gooner game, right? All it is people who are looking to fap to the video game 24/7. That is literally it. There's nothing else that's good about the game whatsoever, and it's just a Gooner game, and there's nothing more to it other than that. And they should feel ashamed of themselves for playing this game in the way that we've been playing Eve, Stellar Blade and Eve and all that. Well, it turns out that the same people that say those things are usually some of the biggest gooners themselves. But the biggest difference is that they are okay with gooning as long as it's safe gooning, right? And what do I mean by safe gooning? Well, it has to be that you're gooning for LGBTQ characters, people, or whatever the case would be. And also, in this case, and this is about to get really weird, you have to be gooning for real life inanimate objects, like a refrigerator, which apparently the person who tried to say Stellar Blade is too sexual, apparently they cannot look at their refrigerator the same anymore because they played this game called Date Everything that lets you turn everyday inanimate objects into people that you can date. So let's get into this article. But of course, before we do, special shout out to the 90,300 of you that subscribe to the channel right now and the over 50% of you that are not subscribed. Consider hitting that subscribe button today if you enjoy the content. I would greatly appreciate it. So let's look over this absolute hypocrisy. If you guys are unaware, there is a video game called Date Everything. Nobody is talking about this game because nobody cares about this game, right? I want to make that very clear. But the reason why we're talking about it in today's video is because this particular journalist, Molly Taylor, over at PC Gamer, gave Stellar Blade a 68 score because it was deemed just too gooner, right? It had supposedly an uncomfortable amount of smut mods that were available for this game. And meanwhile, you have a literal game where you could date everything, including a refrigerator. So I figured let's listen to Molly tell us about how much she loved playing this game that she totally didn't buy with her money. It was instead given to her for free. If you're probably wondering where the picture of the thumbnail came from, well, now you know where it came from. So she says, I can't say I've ever looked at any one of the inanimate objects in my apartment and thought about taking it for dinner and a movie. But Date Everything suddenly has me questioning my limited worldview by asking, what if a record player was actually a gorgeous 1920s flapper? Again, this is the person who is mad at you for being attracted to the traditionally attractive character that is Eve from Stellar Blade, but apparently talking about dating a record player or a refrigerator. That's perfectly fine. Everything's good, right? Everything is A-okay. She says, I've been pretty stoked for this game for a while. Apparently, she's stoked for this. Well, I'm a sucker for a quirky dating sim, which is very much is. And gee, everybody, can you guys be shocked? Can anybody be shocked at the fact that the person who struggled with the tutorial for Stellar Blade is someone who like basically plays dating simulator games, who was stoked for a dating simulator game? This is probably more up her alley, and she should probably give up reviewing games like Stellar Blade. But in any case, she says, I'm a sucker for quirky dating sims, which is this very much is, and Date Everything boasts a pretty stellar voice cast from the likes of Felicia Day to Johnny Young Bosch. A release is just around the corner now, but developer Sassy Chap Games has very kindly put out a demo so I can finally see which appliances are hot and which are bizarre Duke Nukem parodies springing forth from an unassuming microwave. So now it's okay. Now it's okay for us to look at characters and see which ones are hot and which ones are not so much. So it's perfectly fine to now goon to video game characters. Is this okay? As long as you're probably asking yourself, wait a second. Are these characters for somehow, some way hotter than Eve? Is that what it is? Could it be a simple answer as that? There's no way it could be anything else than that, right? No. What it is that these characters are, number one, extremely safe horny, right? Which basically means every single one of them are on some level of spectrum of the LGBTQ community. And I figured, you know what? Here's the best thing. I'm not just going to tell you about it. I'm going to actually show you as well what is going on with this particular video game. Here we go.
Peggy 16.
They say love sees not with the eyes, but with the heart. Perhaps that's why it turns up where you least expect it. Wait, so you're telling me you can date everything? The washing machine, the chair, the refrigerator?
Time for a snack.
This store, that.
Oh my God, hold on. So you mean to tell me
The chair, the refrigerator?
this is the refrigerator? This is the refrigerator. And you mean to tell me that you cannot look at your refrigerator the same because you're gooning to Freddy? What, the fucking Sasquatch? Are we serious right now? This is what we're doing? And these are the people who are trying to make you feel bad for being into Eve from Stellar Blade? This is the biggest problem with gaming urinalism, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody cares what you goon to, bro. Nobody cares if you're everybody's a gooner, bro. Nobody cares. The biggest issue that people have is when you try to be a moral police moron and you're out here trying to dictate what's allowed and what's not allowed. And then you want to pretend as if the people who are into Eve are weird, but then you are the one who's into the refrigerator Sasquatch and you're perfectly normal. You're perfectly fine. Everything is A-okay on your end. Nothing to see here. This is the biggest problem people have. This is why people look at you and realize how full of shit you are. This is why people look at you and realize that anything you say means absolutely nothing. You guys literally mean nothing. Nothing. It's monkeys. It's like, bro, you guys are rules for thee, not for me. That's literally what you are, bro. I'm not even kidding. It's like monkey see, but monkey don't do. You guys are unbelievable.
Refrigerator?
Time for a snack.
This door, that door, even front and back
What are
door.
you looking at?
The fan, the wall, the microwave, the toilet, the dust bunny behind the couch. All right then.
Bro, look at all
The
these
cousins.
look at all these character designs, bro. Look at all of these character designs and then ask yourself, why is it okay for them to goon to these characters? But gooning to Eve from Stellar Blade is a crime. Gooning to Eve from Stellar Blade should not be allowed. And they constantly bring it up as if it's some sort of a bad thing for people. What are we seriously doing here? This is the biggest level of hypocrisy that I've ever seen. This is the same person that wrote the 68 score for Stellar Blade. But let's continue.
Bed, treadmill, mousetrap, dishwasher, desk, piano, dirty laundry, clock, candelabra, the TV, bar.
Oh my God, bro. Hold on. Look at, like, what is this? What is this, bro? What is this? Again, whatever you like is what you like. But bro, are you serious right now? These are the people that are moral policing us?
Piano, dirty laundry, clock, candelabra, the TV.
Look at the TV, bro. Look at the TV. This is Miles Morales, the television. What are we looking at right now? They turned his afro into a television. This is unbelievable. And this is what's allowed to be gooned on? If you were gooning on this, you're going to be considered normal?
Bath, towels, rubber duck, shower,
Rubber duck?
candelabra, the TV, bath, towels, rubber duck.
Rubber duck? We're going into the rubber duck now. Oh my God, bro. There's no way that these people are serious. There's no way these people are serious. There's no way that this journalist wrote a hit piece on Stellar Blade and is gooning in a game that makes you goon on the rubber duck, bro. There is no way, man. I refuse.
Shower, floor, ceiling, shelves, ironing board.
Wait, floor? Did the floor have trans colors?
Towels, rubber duck, shower, floors.
Oh, floors? I can't even do it fast enough, bro. They let that character go away so quickly.
Floors.
Yeah, look how fast they took it off screen. I think it had trans colors. I'm pretty
shelves,
sure. What the hell?
ironing board, trash can, air fryer, vacuum cleaner. The devs are glitching the game. The
What?
game itself, the shadows,
What?
water, earth, fire, air, your overwhelming sense of existential dread. You can even date the kitchen sink.
Bro, what is wrong with these people? You see what I'm saying? Look at this. This is a journalist's wet dream right here. This video game is literally a journalist's wet dream where they look at it and they're like, yes, this is all the safe, horny stuff that I love to consume. Yes, this is totally going to own the chuds. Yes, I like this. This is not for the male gaze, but this is for my gaze because my gaze is nothing but gaze, if you get what I'm saying. This thing is unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. And I want to be very clear. Nobody would care. But you decided to make it a point of conversation to go after people for gooning on one character who is a heteronormative character, a character that 95% of the world plus will be gooning for easily without even thinking twice about it. And you're over here being stoked for a dating simulator that allows you to goon on the rubber duck, that allows you to goon on the refrigerator, the floss, the sockets in your wall. Like, that's perfectly fine. That's A-okay, man. These fucking hypocrites, bro.
So remember, love isn't where the heart is told to look. But
look at this, bro. Look at this ensemble. Look at this safe, horny ensemble. And I want you guys to remember, the refrigerator is the one that got her all hot and bothered. The refrigerator got her all hot and bothered. And it's a Sasquatch in the back left side.
Where it dares to wander. Date everything. Out now.
Oh my God, bro. This game, again, I don't care about this game. Don't give a shit. Like, for me, it's not about the game. For me, it's about the hypocrisy of the gaming media. PC Gamer made it their mission, okay? They made it their mission to talk about this nonsense. They made it their mission where they wanted to downplay Stellar Blade and make you feel bad. They wanted to make you feel bad for liking Eve from Stellar Blade, and yet that is what makes them cheer. That is what makes them happy. That is what makes them goon, and they do it publicly. They do it openly, and they want you all to know about how hypocritical they are. So that is the reason why I went over all of this, and there's nothing more else to be said. Look at how excited she is. And again, look, she uses image credit Team 17. She's still using images. Did she even play this game? Did she play the demo? She said she only played the demo. She can't even bother to buy this game. They probably cost like $10. They used the demo and they wrote an entire glazing review for it. They just didn't give it a score. They just didn't give it a score. It's unbelievable, man. So anyway, you guys can let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this absolute hypocrisy? Do you think this is just everyday gaming journalism? Or do you think there's something more here? Do you think this is just another day where they're trying to downplay Eve because they're just absolutely angry at this point? Because in my opinion, there's nothing else to it other than that. These people are so angry at Stellar Blade being the accepted heteronormative game that I guarantee you the reason why they're glazing this game, and they're one of the few people that are glazing this, by the way. Ironically, PC Gamer, the one that attacked Stellar Blade, is one of the few people that are glazing this game, and they didn't even buy the game. They played the demo, and they openly said they plays the demo. So at this point, I think it's pretty safe to say that these people don't even support the things that they decide to shill for in their articles, which we already knew that, by the way. But in all actuality, they probably don't even like the stuff that they're talking about, but they probably feel like they have to do this because it's the only way to keep their job in the mainstream. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. Special shout out to the 90,300 plus of you that are subscribed to the channel. Thank you guys so much. And if you enjoy this content and you're part of the 50% that aren't subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button today. And I will see you guys on the next one.